we're going to go a bit further ahead, and this is your last few months in WWF. In Jim Ross's book, he describes your last few months with the company as being you're starting to get a bit unhappy, and towards the end you start missing a couple of shows, and basically your heart's not really in it anymore. What sort of caused that? When did your heart stop being in it? Was it just the daily grind, or was it something else?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of a lot, but I think what started it was the screw job with Bret Hart. I think that, for me, wrestling was about trust, especially being in a wrestling ring where you're literally giving your body to people. And I was sold when I got there by everybody that you have to work with one another. And if you don't, then you're not going to be here. You have to work with each other. And you're going to have to be able to do jobs. It's just, that's part of it, right? You win, and there's different things that are going to happen, and you got to be good with it. You got to be okay with it. Your idea is about putting on a great match and nothing more. Putting on a great match and getting over whatever storyline you have to get over. And I bought into that. That's what I bought into. Like, I trusted that. And then when that screw job happened with Bret, it was like everything that I was preached to, that I was supposed to honor and trust, was gone, because it came from the top. It came from the top that this is how they were going to take the strap off of Bret, because Bret didn't want to give it up. And it just didn't make sense to me. Like, so when someone disagrees, you're going to go in and you're going to possibly put them in a position to get hurt. Because in our business, or in that business, when somebody's not where they're supposed to be, people could get paralyzed or killed. We've seen it when things go wrong. And so for me at that point in time, it was like, what about me? Like, I'm a part of Bret's crew. Like, where do I fit in now? Like, what's going to happen here? Is there distrust with me because I'm a part of that crew? And so that's where things got shifty for me. And I don't know if I necessarily lost heart, but it was almost like I felt like it was time for me to go. Like, maybe I need to go back to what I was doing in MMA and go back there, because it felt like I lost my support. And this is just my feeling. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it just felt like I lost my support. That whole clan there with the Bret Hart and everything under them, there was a lot of support there. There was a Shawn Michaels and a lot of support there with their group. And not that I dislike anybody, but that's what I fell under because I worked with Bret. Right. It wasn't a choice. It was something that was said that I had to go do and work with Bret and work some things out. I did. So I was put under that group. That's where I was put. I wasn't put under Shawn Michaels. And not that I would have said no, because I love Shawn Michaels. I think he's great. But this is just where I was at. And then when I ended up there, and then this thing with Bret and Owen, it was like I just didn't feel like I had a place anymore. Like, now I was the underdog. And so I think JR got it right, losing Hart, but it wasn't because I didn't want to wrestle. It was because I felt like I didn't have support there anymore.
Well, because this was in late '97 Montreal, and then you go ahead, you'd feud with The Rock. You'd have your greatest year, I think is easy to say, in 1998, and then in this is probably mid 1999, so a good 18 months after the screw job, and then once again, maybe partly was injuries as well, because I know you've said before that you.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember all this happened. I was starting to move up.
Yeah,
I was starting to go right, and then me and Rock did our thing. They moved him up, and then all of a sudden, I'm asked to do a job to China. I'm asked to do a job to, who else was it? I was asked to do a match with China and do that, and then there was somebody else. I couldn't remember what it was. Oh, I was supposed to have incest with my sister, which was Ryan.
Right.
They wanted me to do these different angles. And this was after I started to make that run, even after all the stuff with Bret stuff. And I still had those concerns. Don't get me wrong. I was still even going through that, but at least I was in the direction that I was supposed to be going. But then all of a sudden I hit this wall after that. And it was almost like I was going backwards. And that's when all that stuff creeped in. Was like, I don't feel like I've got support here anymore. There's no one for me to go to figure out what's going on. Because it doesn't feel right. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting the push or in the direction that I came in with. I remember I built my career. I came into WWF already a made person. And now all of a sudden they were pushing me in the right direction. And all of a sudden after Rock went up and then they started having me do these other weird things, then there was nobody there. Like Owen was gone, Brett was gone. You know, there was really no foundation for me to go, hey, what are they doing? Like, why is this happening? Like, this not me. Like, having incest with my sister, the world's most dangerous man. What? Like, wrestling China? Like, what does that do for me? Like, and so that's where all that came in. It didn't happen like, oh, all of a sudden, now all of a sudden everybody's against me. No, it was a process of things that were happening that put me in that position to go, this is just not for me. Like, they're not moving in a direction that is going to benefit what I have already created, that I've already built.